I've always had a keen interest in the paranormal. I've chronicled many of my incidents, and I've always wanted to share them. But somehow I always felt that no matter how skillfully someone can weave a tapestry with the written word, it just can't convey the emotions of the spoken word. So I figured, what better way to share my stories than make videos? Where do I begin? Well, I think I should start with my very first memories of a paranormal experience. I was 3 years old, and from 3 until 9, I lived in a house that, despite being brand new, most definitely had a haunt. There was a very heavy vibe, as if there was a very dark presence watching us. However, the strange thing about it is that presence seemed to be located in one specific part of the house only and could never leave. You could literally draw a line down the house and feel the heavy vibe on one side and the light, bright, happy vibe on the other side. Every day when I would walk downstairs, I was so sure that I would see the person, or presence I should call it, who was watching us, but I never did. There was one room in particular that seemed exceptionally dark and heavy, and when I would be outside, I would stealthily creep to that window and quickly pop my head around, sure that I would finally catch the watcher, but I never did. Fast forward to many years later, when my mother happened to make an offhand comment about how much she loathed having to be in the laundry room of our own house, and she quickly did the wash as fast as possible to not have to be there. I asked her what it was that upset her about that room, because that was the second heaviest room in the house. She said, well, I know you're going to think this is foolish, and I would never tell you because you were such a little girl, but I was so sure that there was someone there watching me. Well, I almost fainted and told my mother, you knew about the watcher too? We sat down and we discussed it for at least a half an hour, sharing our stories and our experiences. And I ended up finding out that we had the exact same experiences in the exact same areas of the house. Not one bit of difference, except for one. My mother said one night she woke up, opened her eyes, and there was someone standing at the foot of her bed. Did she see the watcher? I don't know. She said that he wasn't at all transparent. He was solid. That he was dressed in contemporary clothing of an older gentleman, a dark suit, maybe a gray flannel, a dark coat, fedora, and he just stood there. He made no sound. He just stared at her. My mother said she was petrified but just couldn't cry out. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, he was gone. Not a sound, not a footfall, not a creak of a board, nothing. Had she seen our watcher? I don't know. Have you ever had any experiences with anything like that? I've always been curious to share my story and hear other people's stories. So please, if you've had an experience like that, I would love to know if you'd be willing to share.